Hello everybody, this is Mr. Sosa with Digital Art. Today we're going to be building your wanted posters. Okay, so this is a tutorial video on how to do that based on the instructions given. So we're going to go ahead and go to Google Chrome, our web browser. We're going to click on one of your digital art classes. So I'm going to click on digital art. You're going to click on modules, go down to the very bottom where it says wanted poster assignment. This is actually the same place you'll turn it in as well. Right here you'll see a blue button that says submit assignment, but for now we're going to focus on this blue piece of text that says wanted poster criteria. So you're going to click on it. It's going to open it up as a PDF, which is basically a file format that opens in Acrobat Reader. Okay, and these are the instructions. Every time I give you guys an assignment, that's how you'll open the instructions. So just follow those steps. I'm going to let you read the instructions on your own, but a few of the things that we need to be aware of are highlighted in red. Your wanted poster must include the photo of the individual wanted, the name and or alias of said person, the reason for being wanted, and the reward amount to be paid. It says, in addition, your poster must be US paper size 8.5 by 11 inches. So we are going to go to Photoshop and make sure that we start by opening up a project that's 8.5 by 11 inches in size. Okay, and then I'm going to minimize these instructions because you want them handy as you're working, so you can always go back to Acrobat Reader, minimize the instructions back and forth, so that we don't have to keep accessing those instructions from here. Okay, so I'm going to go to Photoshop. Instead of open this time, you're going to click on create new. You're going to click up here under print. Remember, these are all your options. These are all your options for your sizes. I'm going to click print. Click on letter, 8.5 by 11. That's the same size that the requirement is asking for. That is required. So I'm going to click letter, 8.5 by 11. Double click it. Don't worry about all these other options. And it's going to open up a blank document. Okay. So that blank document is our blank canvas that we're going to start adding content onto. Content like our old paper that we talked about a few days ago. Content like our photo, content like our text, and every time you create a new piece of content, you're going to see down here in your layers bin a new layer appear. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to Google. I'm going to create a new tab, and I'm going to type out old paper, and I'm going to click on images, tools, size, large. Okay, always make sure to do that to get into the habit of doing that. Okay, let's take a look at some of this old paper and see what's going to work and what's not going to work. If at a glance, all this paper looks like it's going to work, but some of it might be blurry, some of it might include watermarks like we talked about a few days ago to stay away from. This at a glance looks pretty good, but you'll see these watermarks right here. Okay, these watermarks are an indicator that this is a bad piece of paper to use because it's copyrighted and you wouldn't be able to get rid of those watermarks unless you paid for it, and we don't want to do that. We're not here to spend money. We're here to have fun. Okay, here's another one that works at a glance, but once again, you do a little more investigating and you see some text. You see a camera icon here. So that's just not going to work. This is riddled with watermarks. Again, it says iStock, 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 iStock. Don't be discouraged by all these watermarks because eventually you're going to find one that works. Let's click on this one. At a glance, it looks pretty good. I'm going to do a little more investigating with my eye. I'm going to look a little closer. It looks good. It actually looks really good. So I'm going to right click, save image as, put everything in documents, digital art. I'm going to call it old paper. Now I've already got old paper 2 and 3 because I was giving examples yesterday, so I'm just going to call it old paper 3, but you can just call it old paper because you won't have any in there. Click save. Go to file, open. Now that we've saved that file to your computer, we're now going to pull it from your computer. So I'm going to click on your computer. Click on documents, digital art, old paper, and it's going to bring it up in a new tab. You might be wondering where your old tab went. Did it replace it? Did it copy over it? No, it didn't. It just created a new tab. So up here, you're going to have your untitled project, which we're going to save in a moment, and your old paper. So I'm going to go ahead and with my move tool selected, drag this down so that I can now see both compositions. Now that I can see both compositions, I'm going to once again drag this over, okay, to my blank composition, and eventually you're going to be able to move it around. So this is starting to come together. We don't need this old paper 3 anymore, so I'm going to click X. Now the problem we're having here is that it doesn't stretch and fit all the way. So we're going to have to scale it up. So I'm going to click on Show Transform Controls. That's going to draw a scaling box around my image. I'm going to move it up, and that scales it up perfectly. Now, since we're working and we're getting further and further along, let's go ahead and save this. So I'm going to click on File, Save As. You want to save it to your computer. Documents, digital art. Now I've got all these wanted posters here just because I've been doing so many examples. So I'm going to call mine wanted poster test. Okay. I'm going to call it wanted poster test, but you're going to call yours wanted poster. You're going to click save. This dialog box will come up. Click OK. It will always come up. Just click OK. Now I'm going to open a text box. I'm going to grab my text tool. Always start from the far left and stretch it to the far right. You'll see a pink line appear up and down. That's telling you that it's centered. You'll see your lorem ipsum text appear. That's your dummy text to show what text would look like in, say, an article. I'm going to backspace, and in all caps, I'm going to type out wanted. Now that's too small. It's kind of bland. It's boring. It's black. We want it red. I'm going to select it. I'm going to turn the size up where it says 12 point. I'm going to switch it to 12 or to 72. That's still a little bit too small. So I can actually backspace on that and type out 150. And you want it centered, so I'm going to select my text again, click on my center option, and that's going to center it. Let's go ahead and change the color from black to a deep red. And I'm going to use a font that I really like called 28 Days Later. You're welcome to use that font if you'd like. You can use any of these fonts. Oh, that's not it. You can use any of these fonts that you'd like, but for my example, I'm going to choose 28 Days Later. It's towards the very top of your font selection. And now I'm going to go ahead and close this font drawer as not to waste space. Anytime you're done with text, don't click enter because it'll enter your text. Click check mark. Click check mark. Okay, now we're going to go back to to Google Chrome, and we're going to look for a picture of Darth Vader because that's who I want my wanted poster to be about. I'm going to go to Images. Remember, Tools, Size, Large. Now I really like this photo of Vader holding a saber right here. So I'm going to right click. This time I'm going to copy image. Go to Edit, Paste, and it's going to bring him up. And remember, with my Move tool selected, make sure Show Transform Controls is selected. I'm going to make him bigger. Now you'll feel the image snapping kind of like it's controlled by magnets. You'll see that pink line. That's to indicate that your image is in fact centered. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and lay it down right there. I'll push enter. Now I can create another text box. Now this time I want my text to be smaller, so I'm going to change it from 150 to about, we'll try 72. Darth Vader. Okay, maybe a little bigger. Select it. Select your text. Let's try 90. That looks pretty good. I'm going to extend this back right here. Bring my text box up once again. Okay, click the check mark. Remember that when you're working in text and you're done, always click the check mark. Grab another text tool, another T, select out or draw out your text box. Push backspace on lorem ipsum. Now this time I want my text to be about 30 because I'm going to type out almost a sentence. For crimes against the Jedi Order. That looks pretty good. I can probably select it and turn it up to about 40. So I'm just going to type out 40, maybe 35, maybe 35. You want this to look good. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to go ahead and bring up my text box again. I'm going to click my check mark. So we've got wanted, which is required, a photo, which is required, the name Darth Vader, which is required, reason for being wanted, which is required, and we now need the reward amount to be paid, which is required. So I'm going to draw out another box. Backspace, I'm going to put 10,000 Republic credits. I'm going to go ahead and select that. And let's say we want it not 48, maybe 60. 60 looks pretty good. I'm going to bring it down a little bit, something like that. Push your check mark to indicate that you're done. And I want to go ahead and change this color for Crimes Against the Jedi to be black. So I'm going to select that text, click on my red, drag it down to the bottom left to indicate that I want it black. Click OK, click check mark, and now my wanted poster is complete. Now I want to talk about something you can do. It's not required, but if it's something you want to do, you can for sure do it. We're going to desaturate this image of Darth Vader, or what we're really going to do is make him sepia. Okay, so I'm going to click on Darth Vader's layer, make sure it's clicked on layer 2, or whatever your layer is called. Mine's called layer 2. You can go to Image, Adjustment, Hue Saturation, and I'll leave that up for just a second in case you want to pause it and take note or whatever you want to do. Image, Adjustment, Hue Saturation. I'm going to click that, and it's going to bring up an option box. If you click on Colorize, it's going to colorize the entire Vader photo, and now I can adjust my hue to be whatever I want. If I want more saturation, I can adjust my saturation. Don't mess with lightness because it screws up the whites and the black. I just pretend it's not there and leave it at level 0. But if I want to click OK, it will take on those characteristics. Now let's talk about changing something from the past. There's a tool called the History tab right there. If you bring it down, these are all your moves from the last 20 or 30 moves or so, 20 or 30 or so moves. So it shows me everything I did in the project until I opened it. Let's go ahead and go back to the present. If I click back one step, it's going to show me where I was before I changed Vader's color. So if you want to try that again, just go to your History tab, click back one space, Image Adjustment, Hue Saturation, Colorize. This time I want them to be red, so I'm going to keep the hue on the far left and turn my saturation up so it's this really severe, heavy red. Click OK, and there you go. So this is my finished wanted poster. Once again, I'm going to bring up the instructions and put them on the right. Photo of individual wanted, Darth Vader, name and or alias, Darth Vader, reason for being wanted for crimes against the Jedi, reward amount to be paid, 10,000 Republic credits. Now, if you want to include additional information like physical description, height, eyes, eye color, etc., last known location, or you want to include bullet holes, that's something you can do as well. But for now, this meets the requirements. It looks pretty good. So have fun working on this project. It's designed to be for you to be very creative. It's just a few layers of text and a photo. We're going to become a little bit more advanced as we move on in the next few lessons, but this is just kind of to get you used to using those tools, and it's a fun way to get you used to using those tools as well. So have fun with this project. Please let me know if you have any questions. To turn in, once again, you're just going to go back to Canvas, Modules, scroll down to the very bottom where it says Wanted Poster Assignment. And for you, it will say Submit Assignment, and then you'll attach the file. I can't show you how to do that because it doesn't show up on mine, but if you need help being guided through that, I can do that for you through an email or something like that. So have fun with this project. I really appreciate you guys. We're all in this together. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.